Hi guys, vlogs. Myself and Cian Menton are here with you again today for the weekend review show. Premier Division and First Division. 2 games in the First Division, 4 in the Premier Division. We'll start off with the Premier Division. And Derry City got that much needed win, Cian, 2-0 against Shelburne. Thompson with the goals and Figueroa. Hamill, it started off after 2 minutes. You kind of got a sign of things to come when Hamill hit the bar. And Derry played some fantastic football at times in this game for what they've been playing, I thought, didn't they?
Yeah. Look, on the other show I did, I gave them a bit of stick in fairness. I kind of laid into them a little bit, saying that they weren't good enough to be performing. Yeah, but no, I have to say they went out and they played proper football. It's the first time since after lockdown that I've seen Derry play that football. It was just fast flowing. It was easy. I think Shells kind of were content enough where they are in the league, and it was one of them. I'm not taking that away from Derry, but it was one of them typical end of season games. I think, to be honest with you, I think all the games in the Premier Division this weekend were that typical end of season vibe off it, and some people are kind of losing interest in watching it because, like, let's say we want to speak about Rovers winning the league and stuff like that. When all that's sewn up, even though we knew they were going to win it weeks ago, when it's actually sewn up, kind of the interest kind of drops a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I thought from Derry's point of view, though, it's funny. I think we're right. We spoke about Conor Clifford and McCormack not gelling well. In fairness, they gelled well, didn't they, the weekend? I thought Clifford had better games. I thought McCormack now was very good because in terms of midfield play, he was decent on the ball, but the amount of interceptions he was making and getting into the right pockets and that kind of thing, and just laying it off to say the better players. Another thing I'll say about Derry Keane, we've spoken about, I think they generally look better when they play Figueroa up front in the zone. I think he's the best option for them there. He can drop deep. You got the likes of Hamill wide, Jack Malone, Mallon came on the second half, and I thought he added a bit of width as well, didn't he? Hamill was very good, in fairness to them as well. Very unlucky not to score. He hit the bar and hit the post.
Any time I see Hamill, he nearly hits the bar or post, in fairness. But he's a decent player now, but I still, like I spoke about, I still think they need to address the situation in midfield and up front. Look, if they do that, there's no reason why they can't make Europe next year.
Yeah, some interesting milestones from the game, actually, Cian. That was their 500th league victory, and their first goal was their 1,600th goal. Peter Cherry made his 50th clean sheet, actually, for Derry City, and it was the 150th game for Declan Devine. So a bit of a mouthful there, but a lot of milestones there for Derry. So, as you say, they got the win, and we'll just talk about Shelburne quickly for a second. I think you're right. I had a sense about this as well, that Shelburne might have a settled approach about them. And once they went one down, they really weren't a threat, were they? Let's be honest with you in the game.
It was, like I said, a typical end of season game. Shells are happy with them 6 points out of the last 2 games, and this was kind of just get through the game without being demolished. That's the type. Now, I would say, look, they obviously went down with a game plan to win it, but 2 minutes, 3 minutes in, they kind of went out the window a bit. It was stop-start for them. They never got going at all. And look, they'll be disappointed with that. I've no doubt about it. Morris will be bitterly disappointed with that, because I think, without being disrespectful, I think Derry are there for the taking by every team.
So Shelburne, as you say, we talk about how hard they are to beat and the effort they put in. I don't think they were at 75% in effort, if I'm honest. It wasn't 100%. When Derry were passing the ball around nicely, Shelburne were literally just looking at them. There was no effort to try and get the ball back, was there? In all honesty, no real desire, to get the ball back.
Obviously, look, it was a typical off night, I'd say, and just one of them games that wasn't going to be the night, and you could see that from really on the game. But like I says, I think the interest, I'd love to see the views now on Watch Yellow Eye for, let's say, last evening's game against Dundalk and Waterford. I'd love to see the reviews. I'd love to see how many viewers tuned in to watch it, because I was watching the game and I was literally sitting here and I was probably the only dog watching this. And because, I don't think there's I don't know whether. I don't know. It was just a bit. I don't know. There was something about this weekend that I kind of didn't enjoy it as much as others.
Yeah, I think we'll get on to it later, but the title winning scenario might have something to do with that as well. We'll get that. We'll talk about that at the end, actually.
Yeah.
But we'll get on to Sligo Rovers and Cork City. Now, this was a big game, in fairness. Sligo won a 2-1. I suppose the big news is that Cork are relegated. Sligo are 2 points behind Waterford in 5th, Waterford are 4th. We'll just talk about the game quickly before we talk about a bit about Cork now. Obviously, Kid Simpson missing the penalty, or Kid Elliott, missing the penalty, McGinty saving it. I mean, that would have ripped the heart out of Cork, I think. And a couple of minutes later, Junior puts Sligo in front, and you're just thinking, look, good night for Cork, aren't you?
Yeah, look, I think, in fairness to them, I thought in parts of the game, big parts of the game, Cork were the better side. I think Sligo, they kind of got their second goal against the run of play. And, you know, Cork were well on top there at that minute in the game. Like, Cork were creating chances. Look, they were going over the bar, they were going wide. They were creating some really good chances, though. They had a situation there in around the 70th minute where they had corner after corner. And, you know,
of course, McGlade scored after 64 as well. So, yeah, they were up for at that stage, yeah.
But it's disappointing for Cork, you know. I think, you know, considering you missed a penalty, like, you miss a penalty.
A couple of minutes later as well.
And then you get it back to 1-1, and you're on top, and then you lose again. Look, I think, you know, in fairness, I don't know whether it was a penalty or not. It'd be hard to call it. It was soft now, in fairness. He kind of scuba dived on the bleeding ground when he pushed him, but there was contact. And that's all he did.
I think I mean,
disappointing. You know, I think, in fairness to Colin, I said it when he got in. I don't think he's the man to keep them up.
It's too late, though, I think.
In fairness, I think they gave it a right pop. And, you know, since Colin has been in, they gave it a right pop. And look, I don't think they have a lot of money up there, down there. I don't know what the story is, but Colin might be the manager next year. Who knows?
Still at the club, etc., etc.
Yeah, I think they just need to hit the reset button. I would say don't panic, but it's very easy for me to say that if your team's in the first division. It's like, it's one of them divisions where if you don't go up in the first year, you're there for 5 or 6 years. And I think that's what happened with Shelbourne. And, you know, we've seen it happen with some big teams, Cork at one stage as well. So
even Shamrock Rovers at one point were down there. So
yeah, so I don't know how I feel for them coming up to the Premier Division again. Like, obviously it depends on the players they bring in, but they're not going to have the players they have now, I wouldn't say. And I'm thinking, like, if you had, let's say, 7th, 6th place Galway United in the first division up against this Cork side, I would fancy Galway to beat them.
Particularly when Galway will get, say they don't promote, you never know yet, but particularly that Caulfield will get in a few of his men.
That's it. What I'm saying is, with the Cork team that they have now, which I know they won't have that quality, even though it's not a great Cork side, but they're not going to have that quality. And I still
this particular Cork side probably would win the first division, I think, but I don't think they're going to have most of those players.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So I think it's going to be very hard for them.
No, it is. As for Sligo, though, it was a good win for them. Just keeps them there until the last game of the season, 2 points behind Waterford. They're there with a chance, I suppose, Cian, of getting into Europe. They're there. Yeah,
look, they're there. I think they've had a fantastic period just after lockdown there. I know Cork hockeyed them in tournaments, but apart from that, I think Sligo have been fairly perfect. And then obviously they just hit a bit of a bad patch, but they done the up the minute lockdown was over. They got the points on the board. They done their bit. And look, I'm not going to say they enjoyed the last couple of weeks, but they could kind of sit back and relax knowing that they're safe and knowing that they're still in with a chance of Europe. So I think it's a job well done there from Sligo. Job well done from Liam. And look, I don't know. Sligo, a couple of players again, see what happens. And Junior scored as well.
Yeah, he would, wouldn't he? He must have been listening again. A lot of people must have been listening.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the key as well, though. You know, it's hard for teams like Sligo or any team to build because you don't know if they're going to keep the nucleus of their squad next season. Of course, Niall Moran signed a new contract, so that's big for them. Like, he's a good young player as well. Yeah. I just think teams generally need to the bulk of their squad so they can kick on again. Because a lot of the time you're losing 3 or 4 good players and you're trying to replace them with 3 or 4 good players, and that's not easy, isn't it? Not.
No, it's hard, but I think now Liam now be coming into it again now. Like he's there now a couple of seasons, so he has a chance now. I think Liam doesn't make household changes. He really doesn't. He has the same team realistically year in year out. He might lose 2, we might get 2, but realistically he tries to keep the same team. And I think we'll see that Sligo team stay together, because he'd be saying to them, like, look, they're not far off, which they're not. Like, you know, if they were to get, let's say, maybe another centre half, they have a decent keeper.
Winger, maybe.
Another centre half, a winger, they have a striker, so they'd probably need number 10, maybe. And, you know, someone that can just create a little bit of spark, like Junior playing off the left, I think it'd be better. And look, who knows? Sligo could, I'm not going to say they're going to push for the title, but they'll be pushing for Europe definitely next season if they hold on to that squad.
Yeah, 100%. Moving on to Dalymount Park, and you had a sneak. I know you went for Finn Harps to draw this, but you know you kind of were right in a way. You had a sneaky feeling they were going to get something. They got more than something. They got 3 points, 2 Mark Russell goals. Bowls were completely off the pace, weren't they? But Finn Harps were really up for it, and in the end, cemented their, you know, they're 9th, so they can be in the playoffs, but they're not going down automatically for sure. And I had to laugh, Cian, because I did hear Ollie Horgan after the game. He's hilarious. He's some character, isn't he? Because you know, you just won 2-0 at Dalymount Park, and you swear the world is falling to pieces. I don't know if you've seen or heard any of his interviews. He's hilarious, though. But he tried to suggest that, look, you know, we're in the playoffs now, and we can't, you know, finish higher, and we might rest players next week, which I'm not buying, by the way, against Pats. But, you know, he's some character. But it's a fantastic win for Finn Harps, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, a big win, and look, being a Pats fan, I'm kind of hoping that he does arrest a couple of players, because
I'm very surprised if he did, though.
Yeah, look, I genuinely think what they're doing, like Ollie, I think he said it after the Pats game that in the cup when he beat them that he'd rather be out of the cup and in the 9th spot and secure the 9th spot.
Yeah.
So they've secured the 9th spot now. They're putting themselves in the fighting chance. Everyone, even me, everyone looks at Finn Harps and says, right, they're gone automatically. Who's next?
And Cian, they're unbeaten in 5 games. I know they've drawn 4, but still, they're unbeaten in 5 games. It's not bad, is it? You know what I mean?
That's what I said when it comes to stats. I don't read too much into them, because if they got beaten by Bows now, then they haven't won or 5. So it's just the way it goes. But I think,
no, that's true. Yeah.
I do. I think. Yeah, I just have a feeling that Harps will stay up.
Yeah, I think even if they do finish 9th, I think it'd be miraculous if they finish 8th. But if they finish 9th, even I see them beating the team that comes out of the playoff in the first division.
I think they finish 8th with especially playing Pats on Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. But as for Bows, do you think they were on the beach a little bit? I know they woke up a little bit when they went 2-0 down. Mark McGinley made some fine saves, actually. And if they get a goal there, you just never know. And then you had to send it off and that. But they look like they were on the beach a little bit, Bohemians, didn't they?
Yeah, look, he'd be disappointed with that. He'd be fuming in the dressing room, I would say. He doesn't stand for that. He's a hard manager. He won't stand for that. So, look, Bows are a good group. They'll regroup now and they'll go again. They'll be disappointed, obviously. Look, they would have bit your hand off for a second spot at the start of the season. But considering a few weeks ago, they were playing Shamrock Rovers and what was supposed to be, let's say, a title decider. An early title decider, like an early marker. And
it's a marker, yeah.
They'd be disappointed considering they were that close to them and they let them off the leash a little bit, you know. And I think, like at the start of the season, if someone said Bows are going to finish 2nd, like, you wouldn't believe it, like, considering Dundalk and
exactly,
you know, stuff like that. But I don't know. I think I'd be fairly content now if my team finished 2nd. But like I says, it's at the start of the season you take it. But considering you were close to them and considering you played so well, and then all of a sudden you just dropped off, it's disappointing.
And of course, Cian, they're still in the cup, and you sense that the one eye is, you know, in that competition now at this stage. Because if Bohemians were to go and win the FA Cup, we should have a chance of doing so, like a realistic chance of doing so for me, anyway. You know, it'd be a fantastic season, wouldn't they? 2nd on the cup.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it'd be good. There's no reason why they can't do it, but I hate the cup now. Seems the Pats are out. No, I don't like the cup. I'm kind of not looking forward to the next rounds of the cup, and that's the god honest truth.
We look forward to it now because it extends the season. If I'm honest with you, and hopefully, I don't see any reason why it won't go ahead now at this stage. Luckily, there's been no incidents in the league with COVID, so that's been a good thing this weekend. All the matches went ahead, which was fantastic. But we'll move on now. I suppose the fact that Bohemians lost 2-0, it means that Shamrock Rovers are officially the champions. First of all, in all honesty, well done, Shamrock Rovers. Fantastic season. They've been a fantastic team, but Cian, and I know Shamrock Rovers fans look at this and hate the but. It feels like I don't know, diluted or damp. Like there's no celebrations or anything like that, which is disappointing for fans of any club. Could you imagine Cian if Pats won the league and you couldn't go to the game? And it doesn't feel the same, does it? Really, when you think of it, like it doesn't.
It's not going to be the same. And to be honest with you, I don't know whether even next season is going to be the same. I don't know for a long time, but this is the new normal. Look, Shamrock Rovers have won the league on merit. Congratulations to them. They deserve it. They've been the best team in the country. That's not easy for me to say. But I do think that this is the new normal. People are going to have to get used to it. It's disappointing that we can't have a spectacle, let's say, and it's disappointing that the cup final as well coming up won't be a spectacle because they're the showpiece events. That shows off the league, and it's natural tap-up day for every other manager in the premium level box looking at their players. But I think I don't know, it's disappointing that there's no one there to enjoy it. But
you almost forgot they'd won the title over the weekend in a way. It's been like, oh, right, Shamrock Rovers won the title. There was a bit of that. Obviously, Rovers fans aren't going to feel like that.
That was great, in fairness, but I enjoyed that bit of it. No, look, I feel for the Shamrock Rovers fans in this one because their team has just won the league, and they've worked for this for so long now under Bradley, and the work that's been put in, everything that they've done.
Managers as well, the coaches and the managers and the players as well.
So it's a shame that they can't have that moment with the team, and they can't just appreciate the team's efforts, because this Shamrock Rovers team is frighteningly good. And look, I do think they're going to go on and on in this league. I'm not going to say they're going to go on and dominate, because nobody really comes on and dominates. But
you never predict that, can't you? You wouldn't have predicted the Hawks nomination, let's say, as an example.
That's it. Like I wouldn't
year from year.
When you're in the moment, like you look at Sligo when they were in the moment, they were unbeatable, and people are saying, "Jesus, right, this is the team to beat." And then Pats came along, blown them out of the water. Then Dundalk came along, blew Pats out of the water. I think Dundalk are the only team that have dominated on Irish football, and it's
I remember when Pats won the title, particularly when I seen their second title. Was it their second title in '99? Yeah, they won it fairly comfortably, and I thought they were going to dominate for years, but it didn't actually happen. So you just can't tell, can you, in this league? Rovers have the resources, though. There's no doubt about that. I think that's the big thing.
I think there's a lot of good people in Shamrock Rovers now, which is good. But I still think their recruitment policy is spot on. So I'm not worried about them throwing wads of money at players coming in from abroad, and all this. Like, they've been there, done that. It hasn't worked for them. And
they haven't really done that, Cian, haven't they? With this group, if you look at someone like Lee Grace from Wexford, anyone could have picked him up in the league.
Yeah,
any team, I don't know, a Premier Division team. Finn Harps could have picked him up, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They picked up players like that, so they weren't. Apart from Jack Byrne, who was kind of the marquee kind of signing, wasn't he?
Graham
Burke, obviously, as well. But in general, it hasn't been marquee, and loads of money there. They've been very clever, as you say.
And I think, I still like people think now they'll buy the league. I don't think they have that. I think they have the league now. Look, I think they need to add. I still think they need to strike if they want to do well in Europe next year. Definitely, I think what they have now in Aaron Green up front, and I don't think Gaffney will be doing next year. I'd say, I don't know. He could be a good signer for another team in the league. But I think, I think if they
have to go abroad if they're going to get someone in like that, though, aren't they? Because there's no one.
If they want to go to the next level, they need a striker. And look, we don't know who they're going to get. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if a couple of Dundalk players are going to go to Shamrock Rovers, but that obviously opens gaps for a couple of Shamrock Rovers players to go elsewhere. And look, we don't know what the situation is going to be. We don't know what players are moving here and there, so we can't judge whether they're going to go on and dominate for years to come. Because all of a sudden Dundalk are in Europe now. Let's say if Dundalk wanted to buy that whole Shamrock Rovers team, they could tomorrow, no problem. But that's the realistic situation. Like, so you don't know what's going to happen. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. But like, that's the realistic situation. Like, if someone came in with money, they can just buy the league. So it's a strange one. But look, they've been the best team in the country by far this year. I'm delighted Pat stopped them. In fairness, Pat's got a point off them. First points dropped this season. We'll take that.
They might get more points off them in a few weeks, please God, and help their European
we need it.
Yeah, exactly. So well done, Shamrock Rovers. Anyway, Keane says it with gritted teeth. Right, guys, Waterford beat Dundalk 1-0 at the RSC. Keane, you watched this game. I watched this game as well. And look, it wasn't a great game, but Waterford won't give two hoots about that because a massive 3 points to Waterford, and they've the points on the board. They're in fourth place now, and no matter what people say, they're in contention now. They're the favourites to finish fourth, aren't they, this minute in time?
Yeah, look, they have to be the favourites to finish fourth. I think the performance over the course of the season have deserved it. Like we'll go on to speak about, I don't think, let's say, Pats deserve to be in Europe. I don't think...
Funny enough, Keane, just before I'll interrupt you there before I forget, but Waterford have actually beaten Pats twice this season. Yeah. And by the end of the season, that could be the difference.
Yeah, look, I don't think Pats deserve to be in Europe. I don't think... Itchy head. I don't think... I really don't. I don't think Pats deserve to play in Europe this year. I think Waterford deserve to have that fourth spot. I don't think anyone deserves to take it off them. Don't ask me how they finished fourth, considering the season they've had and the turmoil. And it was just madness. It's like an episode of Coronation Street every week in that club. And
it's not even a season, like as you said, 3 managers, 17 games, whatever it is we are now, and all the other turmoil, and yet to find themselves in this position on the verge. They're not there yet, but on the verge of qualifying for Europe. So I don't know what they've done. You have to give the players credit there, actually.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The players have been there throughout the whole season. Throughout all this.
The players have been fantastic, and they've just sailed the ship themselves, really, under the guidance of 3 managers. Madness. But it's, I was screaming and shouting at that telly when Waterford scored, because now I was a Pats fan and kind of dreaming that we might just get in there, but I
sent you a message with more or less saying,
that win, I think, for them now, they get another win, but I think that win there kind of pushes them, cements that spot in fourth. I hate saying that, I hope not. But I think it is now. I think fair play to them.
What do you think of Dundalk? Do you think there's a chance they might miss out in Europe, particularly with the European games coming up? And that?
No, I don't think so. I really don't. I think anyone could have really won that yesterday. There was no quality in it, really, which is disappointing from both sides. I thought, Lucas says, I think it's a typical end of season game, even though it wasn't. There was a lot to play for, but it just felt that vibe about, look, this has been a disgraceful schedule from the FAI for Dundalk. It's an absolute disgrace that they played on Monday night. Then all of a sudden they're meant to go in and put a fantastic performance in against Molde, and then they have to trek all the way down to Waterford to play on a Sunday, and it's a Sunday at 2:00. They play Thursday night, and then Sunday at 2:00. I think it's a bit of a disgrace.
I think some of these people don't understand how recovery works, though.
Yeah,
I think they're nuts.
I understand where the FAI come from when games need to be played, but it's a bit of a disgrace considering you're nearly punishing Dundalk for getting into the Europa League group stages. I personally, Dundalk won't be making excuses.
Although they're not making excuses as such, but it did have an effect.
I think Monday night's game had an effect on the second half performance against Molde.
Possibly, yeah.
I think Molde, I think they probably still would have won the game. I think they were I think they were a class above in the second half. The way they played, they literally, it's like flicking the switch. It's like turning the light on. They just turned the light, and all of a sudden they were just frighteningly good.
As soon as they put one down, they seemed to wake up. Yeah,
that's it. But I think obviously Monday didn't help, and then Sunday. Now they have kind of a little bit of a break now till next Thursday. But when you considering you have to travel and everything,
need it because you're coming up against a high class professional team in Arsenal. Like,
but considering you have to travel and everything, it's not really a long break for them at all. Like considering you have to go and you're training, and it's a bit of a nightmare for them logistically. Like, and consider like they went to Derry, they went to
too many training sessions, Kane. Do you? More like recovery sessions.
Like they went to Derry, they went to Tallinn, they went to Waterford, then they're going to London. Like that's disgraceful. Look, I know.
Likes in Norway and Austria as well.
Yeah, like I remember when they when they lost the cup final against Dundee or against Cork. They were only back from playing Russia. So it's. I think we need to realise. Look, these teams are going to get into the group stages. These teams are good enough, so we need to start preparing right for that.
I think it is, Kane. I don't care what Irish team is in Europe, but we have to be giving our teams the best possible chance they have because they're up against it a lot of the time anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we need to prepare for these teams to be getting into these group stages. And whether that be play, I know with contracts now, but whether that be play 2 games a week at the start of the season, I know they couldn't do that anyway. But when, get used to playing them 2 games a week at the start of the season, and then towards the end of the season, when the cup comes into it and stuff like that, you're playing 1 game a week when it's coming down to the business end.
You need to have a plan just in case. I mean, there's three teams, if you like, 2 teams, but 3 occasions the teams got through to European group stage in the last 10 years. So there's obviously enough chance it might happen. It's not like,
yeah. Like, I think that kind of happened in 2016. And Dundalk, they kind of, and Rovers now, I don't think Rovers were expected to get there, of course. They were the first team to. But look, this is the 3rd time now this has happened.
Time now, yeah.
I think people need to start realising that we need to give our teams the best possible chance to play. And I'm disappointed that they had to go to Derry on Monday. Albeit, they probably had to play Waterford today. Or Waterford on Sunday. But it's I think they could have done without that Derry game.
100%. On to the first division. And this was, oh my God, was some day, wasn't it, Cian? Myself and Cian basically done an Instagram live. Cian was watching Bray and Galway, and I was watching Drogheda and Wexford, and it turned out to be very dramatic. Cian, I'll let you talk about Bray and Galway first, because you actually watched it, and how bad the first half was, and how all that worked out.
It was a typical cagey game. I expected that. I was watching the game, and look, it was... In the first half, if anyone was going to win, it was going to be Galway. I thought they had a great posture from place. I don't know if you've seen that back, but
that was the Brian Maher save. You said that he got up.
Brian Maher top corner, excellent save. And then we had then they had a free header from a corner. I couldn't tell you the truth. I couldn't see the stream who it even was, to be honest with you. It's very hard to look at them, very hard to see the numbers, and it's not as easy as you think without actually watching the game on, let's say, Facebook Live. But
I know, honestly, if you were at the ground, say commentating or whatever, it would be easier. You'd have your notes, and it would be easier. But
well, I think if anyone the first half, I thought it was a very bad first half, but it was going to be Galway. Bray had a couple of chances. I just thought Gary Shaw wasn't in the game at all. It was just, to be honest with you, it was kind of like he was always on the wrong side of a ball. And down the left, he was always on the left instead of getting himself in the box to get a header. And no, I think Bray be disappointed. It's an opportunity missed. They didn't really give it a right go. They gave it a right go towards the end.
Did you sense a bit of nerves in their play when you think about it? Or
yeah, look, there's going to be nerves. I think Galway were nervous as well, because Galway could be out of the playoffs here after a fantastic couple of weeks. So it was a very cagey, nervy game. But look, in the end, Galway hit the crossbar, and from them hitting the crossbar, you went in and scored, and it was just it was Saints, to be honest with you.
You know who the player was? I learned his name. Ubazuna, the South African.
Yeah, I just went Uba. I
Yeah.
said Uba, but you know, that's look, well deserved for Galway. I thought they played very well. I thought they managed the game well, and look, they rode that luck a few times, like every team has to. But they reaped the reward out.
Typical John Caulfield. I suppose you could nearly call it a masterclass because it worked out that way.
Yeah, it worked out very well for them. So, no, it's been fantastic. But I think, I don't know. I fancy Galway now to keep pushing and seeing what happens. But like, I'm looking forward to Tuesday night now and this, because it's just gonna open up everything. Like, there's a full fixture list. So what we'll do is I look after 4 games, you look after 4 or 5 games, wherever it is. We split them between us, and you know, we'll watch the 2 big ones, and then we'll have live scores, we'll have updates coming up. So tune in for that. But it'll be a bit of crack.
There'll be devices coming out of our ass again, lads.
Yeah.
So that obviously leaves Bray. Obviously, we'll talk about Drogheda in a second. That leaves Bray a point off Drogheda with a game to go. But just to get on to Galway there quickly as well, they're in 6th, so 2 points behind Cabinteely. And actually 3 points behind Longford now. Keane, they do have a better goal difference than Longford Galway. So Longford has to be a little bit careful here that they aren't beaten on Tuesday as well, because if they're beaten and Galway win and Cabinteely win, they're out of the playoffs. So, you know, you just never know what can happen in the last day. You just don't know.
That would be an absolute disaster.
That would be a catastrophe for Longford. It will take a hell of a set of results for that to happen, though, but we'll get on to that later. Drogheda obviously beat Wexford 2-0. I'm not sure if you've seen any of this back, Keane, but Prendergast got the goal and Doyle got a lovely little individual goal in 79. First half was good, second half was a bit poor, actually. Drogheda had a lot of chances in the first half. Chris Lyons missed a gilt-edged shot where he kind of hit it with his left foot. He had time to turn and cut inside and hit it with his right and place it, but maybe a bit of nerves as well. But overall, I think Drogheda were full value for the win. They'd be delighted they're point clear now, point ahead of Bray going into the last day. Did you see any of the highlights or anything?
Yeah, I've seen it back, but
what did you think from your point of view?
They won the game. They don't care how they played. They don't care how many chances they missed. But that's typical Drogheda. Missing so many chances in the game. That could have bit them in the arse. Not easy. But
did you see the chance, actually? I forgot to mention there that Wexford had the first. That was a chance, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was clear cut, like, you know. Different game altogether. But look, people were giving out that I didn't give them enough credit. Drogheda now are top of the table, going into the last game of the season. Look, best of luck to them. I think Bray be disappointed considering where they were in the table to where they are now going into the last day. Psychologically, it's a big point. Like, you know, I don't know. You can't call it. You really can't call it. So it's something that I'm looking forward to. And look, Tuesday is going to be a big one.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, we're going to do a preview show as well. So we're going to leave it there now, and we're going to do separate video for the preview show. So thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, like the video, and hit your bell notification button so you don't miss a video. Cheers, Cian.
Thanks.